Hello, fellow ECI 34 classmates. This is Dean Lefebvre and my course walkthrough for our IPE, or Interprofessional Education course that we created. We created this course because Dean and I are both faculty at Saskatchewan Polytechnic, and I work with practical nursing program, and he works in the dental hygiene program. So it was only natural that we came upon this idea of IPE course because this is a mandate by both of our professional associations as well as with Sask Polytech. So Jake Hempel went through kind of the main features of D2L, so I won't go too much into that, and I'll focus more on our course. So we started off with a news page. This is what would come up as soon as the students clicked on our course. And both Dean and I recorded a welcome video and just sort of a quick overview of what we said in each of our videos. We also included a welcome to the course on this first page. The menu is quite self-explanatory. Students would then click on content in order to get to the content that they need to. There's overview, bookmarks, and course schedule that they can also click on, as well as table of contents, which is pretty much what you see here for all the different information. So as much as we could, we filled out, and I will let Dean continue on for Learning Outcome 1.
Learning Outcome 1 provides students with an opportunity to engage one another in this online environment and introduces students to the importance of interprofessionalism and why it is relevant to their course of study. So within this section here, we have 4 tasks that the students need to complete. And when we move to the first one down here, which is entitled Introductions, that is where students are given the flexibility of using text, audio, or video to share information about themselves and their professions. This is really important for team building, as well as role clarification, which are competencies of the interprofessional framework that we cover within this course. The next component here includes a Powtoon video that explores what interprofessionalism is and why it's important. The video also looks at why nursing and dental students are ideal partners in improving the health outcomes of their patients. And then when I go back here to the third component, this is another video here, and it is entitled Training Healthcare Professionals for Better Health and Better Care at Lower Cost. This video here reinforces the importance of interprofessionalism and collaborative practice within the healthcare setting. Now, to evaluate the students' learning here, we have them doing a quiz that they will access here through the assessments. And again, Brightspace is a platform that the Saskatchewan Polytechnic has used for over 2 years, so the students are familiar with this platform, because even in our face-to-face classes, there is content that is delivered within this platform. And the first quiz here, which specifically deals with Learning Outcome 1 and the content within it, students will have to answer 6 questions, and these questions will be used as part of the escape room activity that we also quiz them on Learning Outcomes 2 and 3, which is content-based. This activity, this escape room activity, it employs gamification to not only engage the students throughout their learning experience, but also allow them to have fun throughout this process.
Learning Outcome 2 was to discuss the barriers to successful interprofessional collaboration in IPE. So this continued on with the theme of IPE, and again, we listed all the tasks for the students to complete. They watched the video, or they had the option to read the content. They also had an option to download the video, which I thought was a really nice feature. And then as well, because IPE is all about interactions, we made sure that the students were in predetermined groups, and then there was 2 students from each of our programs, and then they would form groups, and they would have to complete 5 group discussions and just following the directions below. So that was throughout this learning outcome. And then at the end of each learning outcome, I created some quizzes for the students to complete. Just kind of a self-check for the content, as well as it forms the basis for the virtual escape room. So all they have to do is go to assessments and click on quizzes, and then they can either click on learning outcome 1, 2, or 3 quiz. So just for instance here, so then if I scroll down, then they, as faculty, we have a lot of different options with the quizzes. We can set all kinds of different parameters. So for this, I allowed unlimited time. They can repeat it as many times as they want. And you can also include an introduction. So I just explained to them about the escape room. And so basically the first 3 questions of this particular learning outcome 2 correspond to escape room 3, and the last 3 questions correspond to escape room 4. So, and then they just hit start quiz, and then that will start them into the questions. So, and then they just click it and go through. So the nice thing about it is, another parameter that I set is that if they click on the wrong answers, then the correct answers will actually show up at the conclusion of the quiz. So that's kind of a nice thing. So learning outcome 3 is titled Describe Theoretical Components of Successful IPE. So again, we started with the same format. There are 3 tasks for the students to complete. They read the content. And the nice thing about this LMS is that content that's uploaded becomes a web page, so it's easier to view. And then they can complete the associated quiz, and then click on the link here, and that will take them to the Google Doc that is the escape room. So they click on that, it takes them to the escape room, and I will just turn this to student format. So the Google Docs, I got some really good advice from a really great web page that walked me through all the things that I had to do to create this. So I will make sure to list this on my blog page, so you can also follow it if you like. And so there's instructions, and then they click next, and that'll take them to the first question. So I did this a little bit different than your traditional escape rooms. This has 6 escape rooms, and there's 2 escape rooms for each learning outcome. So learning outcome 1 corresponds to the first 3 questions. Then they take the letter that corresponds to the answer, the first 3 questions. So, and that is a 3-letter combination. So if they get the wrong one, then it will pop up a wrong answer, and it'll say something, and then, or if they get a correct answer, it'll take them to the next room. So this is the wrong answer. So it says, a message, and then they can type in the right answer, and then, oops. Okay, I'm sorry. Dang it. There we go. And then it'll take them to the next escape room, and so on and so on. And then once they get through number 6, then they escape, essentially. So this is really nice. I think it would be really interactive. I look forward to trying to use it for my students in the future. And I think it could be used for really any age of student. Really, it could be modified.
Learning outcome 4, entitled Participate as a Member of an Interprofessional Team, has our students completing 3 tasks as outlined on this page. First, students are asked to watch this case study video that provides a scenario where students assess the information provided and use each other's knowledge and expertise to come up with an action plan on how to treat this patient. In their discussion posts for their interprofessional groups, we do have guiding questions here to stimulate their discussions and to allow them to reflect on what they came up with. After they discuss as a group, they post their summary here in this group discussion post that will allow them to reflect back on the group as a whole. Now, to evaluate if they have employed the key competencies of interprofessionalism as discussed in Learning Outcome 3, students will use this assessment rubric, and there are instructions here that deal with the 6 competencies of the national framework, and they will evaluate how well they did as a team in each one of these areas. They do add up all the numbers that are indicated in each of these dimensions to come up with an individual average, and then they are asked to compare those scores down here to see if there's any discrepancies within the group as far as how they felt that they did with interprofessionalism. So there is a final discussion here based on what they found with their interprofessional collaborative assessment rubric. And we also have some guiding questions for them to reflect upon how they did, what they could have improved upon based on what they have learned about interprofessionalism within our course. So this allows them to apply the interprofessionalism concepts and see if it led to more effective outcomes for their patient.